Conspiracy, we allege, originated on the other side of the world in China in 2022 with Antonio Blakeney, a former LSU All-American college basketball player and former NBA Chicago Bull player, who, with his co-defendants Marvis Fairley and Shane Henin, first colluded to fix Professional Chinese Basketball Association games.
So the Bulls haven't commented. The FBI says the alleged crimes in today's indictment are not victimless, calling them a calculated scheme designed to manipulate outcomes, deceive fans, corrupt athletes, and undermine credibility of our leagues and institutions.
Among those indicted, several former DePaul University players.
Casey Cronus live with details. Casey.
That's right, and the involved players were apparently making between $10,000 and $30,000 per game to underperform. The federal indictment names 3 former DePaul University basketball players, Jalen Terry, Deshaun Nelson, and Macabre Etienne. We know that Terry was arrested by the FBI in Flint, Michigan today, according to court documents. The indictment states that among other incidents, in February of 2024, the scheme's fixers faced timed with the involved players who agreed to rig an upcoming game against Georgetown, ensuring that DePaul did not cover the first half spread. This afternoon, Loyola University's director of sport management, who specializes in sports gambling, weighed in.
The thing that was most surprising to me when looking at these allegations, however, is that it was a highly coordinated operation that involved multiple players on the same team. Most of these incidents have prop fixing, where it's an individual who is altering their own stats, how many rebounds they get, how many points they score. This was very unique because it was multiple players on the same team acting together to influence the entire outcome of the game.
A DePaul spokesperson called the allegations deeply disappointing, confirming that no current student athletes were members of the 2023-2024 team, adding in part, the university has a long-standing commitment to educating our athletics community about the dangers and consequences of sports betting. Now, prosecutors say NCAA players across the nation were involved, including from Tulane University, Fordham, and Robert Morris. Reporting live in Lincoln Park, Casey Cronus, Fox Chicago.
Thank you, Casey. And we have new information about last night's fatal shooting in Morgan Park. 1 man is dead, 2 others wounded.
Brett Pagansky live at the scene near 111th and South Longwood. And Brett, you just got word of an arrest.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So I spoke with Alderman O'Shea just hours ago, and he told me that Chicago police arrested 1 person after this fatal shooting that happened just outside this laundromat in the alleyway. Now, I haven't been able to confirm that information, and Alderman O'Shea told me that this was drug-related. So those 2 pieces of information have not been confirmed by Chicago police, but we are working to confirm it here at Fox Chicago. And we also found out through our reporting that there were 2 crime scenes here. So we were able to confirm through the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office that the man who died last night is 28-year-old Vincent Quindon. So you're seeing video now from the Citizen app, which shows those 2 crime scenes that I just mentioned. You had the one that happened here at 111th and Longwood, but then about 3 blocks away, video shows crime tape around a white van at Prospect in Homewood, and you could see what appears to be multiple bullet holes on that car. So Alderman O'Shea told me he was briefed by Chicago police about what happened, which allegedly involved multiple people with guns shooting each other inside of the car, and this all happened about 3 blocks away from Chicago Police District 22 headquarters.
That appears to be a drug deal gone bad.
How alarming is this, knowing it was just blocks away from a police station?
I think it's just another example of how dangerous communities are when you have people involved in drugs, in possession of weapons. And it'll be interesting to find out what kind of criminal record any of these participants had, should they maybe have not been on the street.
We don't know the names of the 2 other people involved, but we did find out that one of them is in critical condition right now at the hospital. The other one is considered to be in good condition after that person got shot in the foot. But for now, we'll have in Morgan Park tonight. Brett Pagansky, Fox Chicago.
All right, thanks for that, Brett. ICE agents have shot another person in Minneapolis. It happened last night, exactly 1 week after a federal immigration officer shot and killed Renee Nicole Good.
Asher Red in Minneapolis right now. Asher, the Department of Homeland Security is defending the agent involved in this latest shooting.
Well, Scott and Sylvia, DHS says agents were trying to arrest a Venezuelan suspect when they say two other men showed up and started attacking agents with a snow shovel and a broom. One of those agents then shot one of the attackers in the leg, and he's expected to be okay. But this, of course, stirred up some of those protests here in the Twin Cities. Within hours, hundreds of anti-ICE protesters showed up, some of them smashing car windows and shooting fireworks at federal agents. One group of protesters ripped a gun safe out of a federal vehicle. Others found stacks of paperwork with sensitive information like agents' names and arrest warrants. We also saw agents who had to use tear gas and flashbangs last night to fend off a large crowd. State and local leaders want people to protest peacefully, but they're encouraging people to create what Governor Tim Walz is calling a database of atrocities.
If you see these ICE agents in your neighborhood, take out that phone and hit record. Help us create a database of the atrocities against Minnesotans, not just to establish a record for posterity, but to bank evidence for future prosecution.
There's no doubt in my mind that you love your town. Imagine if that city or that town was suddenly invaded by thousands of federal agents that do not share the values that you hold dear.
This morning, Governor Walz also made a direct appeal to President Trump, asking him to, quote, turn the temperature down. The White House responded, pointing blame back at Walz and Democrats for inciting violence against ICE and comparing them to Nazis. Meanwhile, President Trump is threatening to use the Insurrection Act in Minnesota if protesters continue attacking federal law enforcement. This would allow the president to deploy National Guard and active duty forces to enforce the law and stop violent protests.
Governor Tim Walz has my phone number. I have called him and talked to him and said, listen, you let your city burn down in 2020. Don't do it again. President Trump wants to keep everybody safe. We're enforcing federal law. We're protecting every single American. Work with us.
This morning, President Trump posted to Truth Social that the ICE operations in Minnesota will continue after a federal judge denied the state's request to force an immediate ban on them. Back to you.
All right, thanks for that. The family of Renee Good is now pursuing their own separate investigation. They've retained Chicago civil rights attorney Anthony Romanducci. His firm is launching a civil probe, and he joined our Chicago Live digital show to discuss the case.
Well, certainly when I first heard about it, I think we were all shocked at what happened. I mean, basically what we see happening is an invasion in Minneapolis by our own federal government. Thousands of ICE officers have now basically blitzed into the city, flooded the zone, whatever you want to call it. And, you know, people are getting detained and innocent people now are getting killed as a result of this mission that our federal government has, which is supposed to be capturing the worst of the worst. Renee was not that. She was one of the good ones. She was one of the best ones. She should not have been caught up in this at all, and instead ICE officers killed her.
And you can watch the entire interview right now on Fox Local and Fox32Chicago.com.
All right, let's take a live look outside where this weekend maybe count on the weather to be the 12th man for the Chicago Bears.
The 12th man, how about that? Did you see that gorgeous shot out there? The sun shining.
It's
sunny
cold,
today and cold, yes.
Yes, very cold out there today. We have temperatures that are currently sitting in the low to mid 20s for a lot of us. The lake effect, that has ended over in northwest Indiana, but we are already tracking our next storm system that is going to be here in just another couple of hours. So the satellite and radar, you can see there's starting to be a little bit of snow that's developing off to our west. That's going to expand in coverage and then move in later on this evening. So we have snow in your forecast this evening. That's going to continue tonight. And then through the day tomorrow, we're going to have still some scattered snow showers around. But tonight, a lot of us are going to be seeing an additional inch of accumulation. A couple localized spots where we see those heavier bursts of snow setting up. We could potentially be closer to 2 inches, but average speaking here, most of us are going to be picking up right around an inch of snow this evening through tonight, so we could be a little dicey out there for your morning commute tomorrow. Temperatures are currently sitting in the low to mid 20s, and here's where we're headed. Tomorrow we're in the 30s, but then it gets cold this weekend. Those details in your Bears forecast is coming up.
Thank you, Emily. Well, the Bears-Rams divisional round playoff could break records for one of the coldest games. The Rams, of course, as we know, are a warm weather team. Could this make the difference?
You never know,
That's
Sylvia.
right.
It should be noted, they've yet to play a cold weather game this season. Sweet Lou live in studio. So, Lou, big question. How are the Bears preparing?
Well, this is bear weather, so it's easy for them, and the Rams did play a couple last year, Scott, and won. Bears are preparing by practicing outdoors without heaters this week at Hallis Hall, while the Rams work out in L.A., where it's 82 degrees. Rams won in real cold weather last year against the Jets. Coach Sean McVay calling it the coldest game he's ever been part of. They then lost to the Eagles in cold Philadelphia during the playoffs. Now, the Bears with another wild finish against the Packers. First half, couldn't get anything going offensively. Beautiful pass here, will always be remembered by Caleb Williams to Roma Dunze, and then the touchdown strike here to DJ Moore. They fell behind 21-3. Their defense spurred the comeback. The second half chase started, leading to their 7th come-from-behind victory. So what is their secret behind always coming back?
Confidence is born of demonstrated ability, and so they've demonstrated to themselves that they can be in these tough moments, and they can just keep swinging. And the message really to those guys, it's not going to take a superhuman effort. It's going to take our best effort to be as clean as we can. We gotta focus on the process and just one play at a time. Don't look at the scoreboard, and we'll climb right back into this thing where we want to be.
Yes, sir. The other big sports story, 3-time All-Star Alex Bregman, officially introduced as a Cub this morning, signed a 5-year, $175 million deal Wednesday. The guy has won 2 World Series titles, and he says he's not done.
I'm a winning baseball player and focused on winning, and in talking with Jed and Carter throughout this process, I know that the Cubs organization is focused on winning, and I'm looking forward to doing that and winning a championship here. The city of Chicago loves sports, and they love winning, and hopefully we can win a lot for them.
Number 3. So did you talk to Nico Horner about number 2? And is that somebody you're looking forward to playing with?
I'm definitely looking forward to it. No, I didn't talk to him. I wore number 3 because I wanted a 3rd championship.
Yeah, so do we. Coming up on the news at 5, we'll have much more on both of these stories. Reports from Cassie Carlson with the Bears at Hallis Hall. Tina Nguyen with Alex Bregman and the Cubs at Wrigley Field. Scott.
Exciting stuff. Thanks, Lou. Well, the Bears' playoff excitement is spurring business and historic ticket sales.
Plus, Caleb Williams is literally the Iceman. We're going to tell you where you can find this limited-time playoff attraction.
Verizon restoring service. They're now working to get customers back on the phone. How to claim your apology credit.
Plus, President Trump unveiling his plan to make health care more affordable.
Fox.
Welcome back. It's 4:15. President Trump is unveiling his long-awaited health care proposal.
Now, this framework includes a number of proposals that Trump or Congress have pushed in recent years.
We're calling it the Great Health Care Plan. Instead of putting the needs of big corporations and special interests first, our plan finally puts you first.
Now, his proposal includes negotiating with pharmaceutical companies to lower drug prices and would require hospitals to post the costs of their services. The president also wants the government to invest in individual health savings accounts.
The government is going to pay the money directly to you. It goes to you, and then you take the money and buy your own health care. We will have maximum price transparency, and costs will come down incredibly. I'm calling on Congress to pass this framework into law without delay.
The proposal comes ahead of a Senate vote to extend subsidies under the Affordable Care Act. The tax credits expired December 31st. More than 1 million people are no longer enrolled in the ACA as a result, because it resulted in a major spike in premiums for millions.
There is new help for women impacted by the criminal justice system. Mayor Johnson, the city, and the Women's Justice Institute are launching a new community re-entry support center in Pilsen. They say it is the first of its kind in the nation and will provide trauma-responsive, gender-specific support for women and female-identifying people who are returning from incarceration. The center and its work designed to promote healing, stability, and long-term success.
For many women, reentry means having to figure out how to meet their own needs and rebuild their own lives while also balancing the roles of being a caregiver.
While I was incarcerated, the Women's Justice Institute was more than an organization. It was a lifeline.
The center will offer support in mental health and behavioral health, housing and employment, and holistic wellness programming.
United Airlines flight attendants are fighting for a new contract. Today, they picketed outside the airline's headquarters at Willis Tower. They say they've been working without a deal for nearly 5 years now. Union reps now demanding that the CEO, Scott Kirby, pay workers a fair wage.
Inflation's gone up, bills have gone up. We show up for work every single day. We're not being paid by the time for the boarding of the airplane. We're not being paid in between flights. And it's time that Scott Kirby treats his flight attendants the way they deserve to be treated and give us a contract that's industry leading.
United has not responded to their protest.
Verizon is offering customers a $20 credit following a nationwide outage. More than 1.5 million customers have been impacted by this. Verizon still hasn't shared what caused that wireless and data outage, but says there was a software issue. So how do you claim your credit? You can log into the My Verizon app and accept the offer. Once approved, customers will be contacted directly about the credit via text.
Bears fans flocking to the merchandise mart today to look at this, and this is really cool. They're calling it the Iceman. Yeah, that's QB1, Caleb Williams. He gained this nickname for his calm, clutch performance in high-pressure moments. You know those cardiac moments for we fans. Now, this ice sculpture will be on display until 6 p.m. tonight, and it certainly helps Sylvia and Emily, that it's 22 degrees out there, because I don't think that thing has any possibility of melting anytime soon.
It's not melting, huh?
No, not anytime soon. Now, tomorrow we have temperatures that are going to be in the 30s again, but I still think that we're going to be cold enough that there's not going to be a ton of melting taking place. And you were just looking at Soldier Field. I don't know if you noticed, but the field's covered, and that's likely because we have snow in your forecast this evening and tonight. We have another inch or so that's going to be possible here this evening and tonight. Temperatures right now sitting in the mid-20s. We have southwesterly winds, so wind chill temperatures are currently sitting in the teens for most of us. Futurecast taking us throughout the next few hours. Again, snow is going to spread across the region from west to east, so by 9-10 p.m. or so, we should be seeing fairly widespread snow by this point, and then that's going to continue continue fairly steadily until the early morning hours of Friday. We could see an additional push of snow during that morning rush. So this is what we're going to be watching for tomorrow morning. But when all is said and done, most of us are only picking up around an inch. So we're not expecting those really heavy snow rates, but I think it's going to be kind of a slow and steady event for us during the overnight. Enough to make a mess of the roads, though. So any untreated surfaces definitely going to be snow covered and slick. Scattered snow showers are going to remain possible through the day tomorrow with little to no additional accumulation, and temperatures are likely going to top out in the 30s. Futurecast snowfall, again, most areas looking at right around an inch to maybe closer to 2 in a couple isolated locations if we do end up seeing any of those heavier bursts of snow. But most areas just looking at an inch tonight. 36 degrees for your high tomorrow, 20 on Saturday. Scattered snow showers on Sunday, a couple flurries for that Bears game. Temperatures, though, are only going to be in the mid, maybe upper teens still by kickoff Sunday evening. Back to you.
All right. Thanks, Emily. A new bipartisan Senate push heating up to limit children's screen time.
Connor Hansen has more on the debate going on today on Capitol Hill.
An eye-opening Senate Commerce Committee hearing confirms what many parents already know. Kids are spending more time on social media than ever before.
8 hours and 39 minutes each and every single day. More than half of the time that a teenager is awake.
Teens themselves seem to recognize the issue. Last year, Pew Research found 48% of teens surveyed said social media has a mostly negative effect on their mental health. A bipartisan group of lawmakers is pushing to set a minimum age of 13 to use social media and ban addictive algorithms.
Apps are deliberately engineered to hook kids, to keep them clicking, scrolling, and coming back.
Experts testified about a rise in behavior issues, depression, and suicide attempts, and how much artificial intelligence is shaping developing minds, particularly with the rise of AI chatbots.
When you interview 4- and 5-year-olds about things like an AI assistant like Alexa, they say, I think it has feelings. I think it could be my friend.
Tech companies have fought against age verification, claiming it strips away parents' freedom to dictate what tools their kids can use and could expose their data to hackers. Some tech giants like YouTube have begun to add more parental controls.
We're going to make it easier for parents to set them on of time.
The bipartisan bill would also cut federal funding to schools that don't block social media and harmful content. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox Chicago.
Still to come, the family of Chicago tight end Cole Kmet taking us down memory lane.
Yeah, the curveball that may have sparked his love for the NFL.
A rare January boost for Chicago restaurants. What officials say is behind it.
Growing concerns over a deportation center in northwest Indiana. Maryville officials are now debunking what they call the myths.
And what exactly is the Insurrection Act? We've got a deep dive into the latest threat from President Trump as anti-ICE protests in Minneapolis grow.
Buckle up, football fans. It's time now for Toyota Talks. Shea Cornett, host of First Take Sports Center, my former teammate here at Fox, joins me from Bristol. You grew up in Park Ridge. You're a Chicagoan forever, but you also work with a lot of national guys like Stephen A., who's obviously very outspoken, and Dan Orlovsky, your friend over there who was beating up the Bears last week, actually just ripping them to shreds, saying they had no chance against the Packers. How are those Bears haters treating you today?
You know, it's funny. Since that show with D.O., with Dan Orlovsky, I have not seen him. And we live very close by each other in Connecticut. And I have not seen him once. My mentions have blown up like, tell him off. And I haven't even had the chance to. I think he's on the show tomorrow, so I'll make sure to do that. First of all, the narrative coming into the Packers game, into the wild card round, was that people don't trust the Bears. They don't. And that's, I think, a fair assessment. The comebacks have been awesome to watch. And for me, have nearly given me a heart attack. But you feel like they're not always sustainable. In fact, it kind of bit them against the Lions in that last game of the regular season. Obviously, it was sustainable against the Packers, and they were able to pull it off. But I think that game now against the Packers, your bitter rival at home, has been that thorn in your side for like my entire life, has now put everyone on notice. Okay, fine. This Bears defense isn't fantastic, and maybe it's not the bread and butter defense that Bears defense get hot now. Because if that Bears defense can at least provide you a little bit more of a pass rush, a few more stops in critical situations, forget the takeaways. Okay, now the Bears have an offense, they have a defense, their special teams is sound. Don't let them get hot. So I think the national narrative was, I don't know how much I trust this Bears team yet. After the Packers game, completely different ballgame.
It's starting the day with hope, knowing you're in the right place, having access to advanced treatments and the most experienced cancer experts. When you're facing cancer, it's not just one thing that makes the difference. It's everything. The big, the small, the unexpected, that helps you keep moving forward. Advocate Healthcare. Cancer care that makes the difference.
Right now at 4:30, another ICE shooting renewing questions over shortened training under the Trump administration.
The Insurrection Act explained. Would this be a risk or a benefit for President Trump?
But first, we are following breaking news out of Will County. One person is dead after a crash involving a school bus this morning.
Our Leslie Moreno live in Manhattan with what we know right now. Leslie.
Hey guys, good evening. Yeah, the scene of the crash is cleared, but you can still see those tire marks that were left here behind me. Take a look. Neighbors we spoke with say it was a horrific sight. Many of them say they heard and witnessed the accident. Take a look at Skyfox over the scene early this morning there. Manhattan officials say the crash happened at around 8:25. A school bus carrying 10 students from District 114 was involved in a collision with another vehicle at the intersection of Manhattan Money and Kankakee Road. Officials tell us the driver of the vehicle was pronounced dead at the scene. Emergency crews checked all of the children on board and were transported to local hospitals out of an abundance of caution. Thankfully, no life-threatening injuries have been reported among the students. Tonight, the crash, though, reigniting concerns from parents and community members who say this intersection has been dangerous for years. Some of them telling us they've complained to the village about serious crashes, even fatal ones, but feel nothing has changed to make these roads safer. We did reach out to the village. The mayor was not available for an interview, but he did provide a statement which reads, quote, "This is a heartbreaking tragedy, and our thoughts are with the family and loved ones of the driver who lost their life this morning. Any loss of life on our roads is unacceptable. These recent fatal crashes have occurred on roads maintained by the state of Illinois through IDOT, and the village has consistently pressed the state to address resident safety concerns, including meeting directly with state officials and IDOT on November 25th of 2025. Following that meeting, traffic safety changes were implemented on state-maintained roads, and we will continue advocating for additional improvements to help prevent future tragedies. Illinois State Police is taking the lead on this investigation. At this time, the cause of the crash is still unknown. For now, reporting live here in Manhattan, Leslie Moreno, Fox, Chicago.
All right, thanks for that, Leslie. The Insurrection Act has only been invoked a few dozen times in the entire history of the nation.
Political reporter Paris Schutz is catching us up on what this act calls for and when it's been used.
Yeah, very rarely, Scott and Sylvia, as you mentioned, the president has teased invoking this law previously, but seemed to step up his threats today with a post on social media threatening to take action if Minnesota officials, in his mind, don't do more to quell the unrest. And this is after another agent-involved shooting last night. Now, according to UIC legal scholar Stephen Schwinn, the act's been used 30 times in the history of the country, most recently during the L.A. riots after the Rodney King murder in 1992. But that was with the cooperation of California's governor at the time. Schwinn explains that the act allows the president to deputize National Guard and military personnel to invoke federal law on U.S. streets. But Schwinn says it's not the same thing as declaring martial law.
If the president invokes the Insurrection Act, the president can order military authorities and National Guard to enforce federal law themselves directly. And so that's part of the strength of the Insurrection Act. Having said that, the Insurrection Act itself doesn't authorize the president to order the military to create a kind of martial law situation.
Now, Minnesota's Attorney General Keith Ellison has already threatened to sue to block if it happens, although Schwinn explains that federal law is not entirely clear what constitutes a legal insurrection and what doesn't. So he believes that the courts would defer to the president's judgment. Now, the act has also been invoked during the 1960s civil rights movement to enforce integration of public schools over the objection of Southern governors. Some scholars have theorized that the Trump administration's aggressive deportation tactics in blue cities would lead to confrontation that would ultimately serve as pretext to this. Although Schwinn says he does not believe what's happening in the Twin Cities right now rises to the level.
The courts are going to defer heavily to the judgment of the president in this regard, but based on everything that I've seen coming out of Minneapolis and Minnesota more generally, there's no call for invoking the Insurrection Act here. The triggers just are not implicated. There's no rebellion, there's no insurrection, there's nothing even close to that. And moreover, to the extent that there is, violence or unrest in Minneapolis, for example, many would argue it's the federal government's own doing.
Now, interestingly, the Insurrection Act was invoked here in Chicago in the late 1800s to break a railroad workers' strike emanating right here in the Pullman neighborhood.
ICE is totally out of control, and this week I intend to introduce a bill to abolish ICE.
On Capitol Hill, Democratic lawmakers are using every tool at their disposal to reform ICE or get rid of it entirely. The Abolish ICE Act is being proposed by a Michigan Democrat and would dissolve the agency and end its enforcement authority. Recent polling suggests there may be public support for this. An Economist's YouGov poll released Tuesday found that 46% of respondents support abolishing ICE, while 43% are entirely against it. Congressional Democrats are also floating proposals to cut DHS funding and establish minimum hiring and training standards for ICE and other federal enforcement officers. Over the past year, ICE has added about 12,000 officers during a rapid hiring blitz. New Jersey Senator Cory Booker questions whether the speed came at the expense of standards.
One of the most alarming crises are issues of training and accountability standards for ICE officers. The Trump administration has cut the training down from 5 months to about a month and a half. They have eliminated age requirements and are hiring recruits as young as 18 years old. They're putting people into training before their background checks are even complete. And so when you see people cut corners, people die.
Senator Booker is introducing legislation today that also bans the hiring of anyone affiliated with hate groups and requires officers to wear body cameras.
In Merrillville, Indiana, officials are working to debunk myths about deportation. A recent Washington Post article reported that an empty warehouse in the northwest Indiana, could be used as a deportation processing center. The report has since caused a stir online. However, in a statement to Fox Chicago, Merrillville says it has not been contacted by any federal agency on this matter. The Washington Post article outlined plans to book newly arrested detainees into 16 processing sites in various states, Merrillville on a list of smaller facilities.
Former Vice President Kamala Harris will be visiting Chicago next week. She's scheduled to be the keynote speaker at the city's annual Martin Luther King Jr. Interfaith Breakfast on Monday. This year's theme is Defending Our Democracy, Protecting Our Rights. Tickets are no longer available. The last time Harris appeared in Chicago was during the August 2024 Democratic National Convention.
You know, Sylvia, it seems like it was a year ago that it was 50 degrees out there. It is bone-chilling and apparently not getting any warmer anytime soon.
Well, we have one little glimmer of hope, though, that we can look forward to tomorrow, because tomorrow's highs are actually going to very briefly climb above the freezing mark. But then after that, yeah, it's all cold as we go into this weekend, then definitely into next week as well. Right now, it's cold, and the lake effect across northwest Indiana, that's come to an end. But we're already tracking our next storm system that's going to be moving in later on this evening and tonight. Many of us are looking at an additional inch of accumulation tonight into early morning tomorrow. And then we're still going to have waves of scattered snow showers being possible through your day tomorrow, with high temperatures in the mid-30s. Tonight, fairly steady temperatures. A lot of us are dropping down to about 20, but with gusty winds as high as 20 to 25 miles per hour. I think we're looking at wind chill temperatures very easily dropping down into the single digits at times. Your 3-day forecast tomorrow, 36 degrees. We'll have scattered snow showers through the day. And then Saturday and Sunday, mainly dry. There's a chance for a couple snow flurries here or there, but most of us are just looking at partly to mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures around 19 degrees for your high, and Bears kickoff temperatures will likely be in the mid to upper teens. Back to you.
Well, they were supposed to be in outer space for as many as 7 months, but now, for astronauts, they're back home much earlier than planned.
We're going to tell you why NASA had to bring them back after an unprecedented medical evacuation.
Chicago Bears winning season is apparently making people hungry. How their journey to the playoffs has become a victory for local restaurants.
For the first time in history, a medical evacuation of the International Space Station.
After nearly 6 months in space, 4 crew members, they're back on terra firma. Splashing down off the coast of San Diego overnight, NASA says a crew member developed a medical issue while on board the ISS. Didn't identify the crew member or the specifics on the health matter. The space agency says the individual is in stable condition, doing just fine.
To be overwhelmingly clear, Crew 11 was a very successful mission. While this was the first time we had to return crew slightly ahead of schedule, NASA was ready.
Well, 3 astronauts remain on board the ISS and will be unable to perform their spacewalks even for an emergency until the Crew 12 mission arrives. NASA trying to expedite that launch as early as February 15th.
On Wall Street, stocks pulled back in the final hour of trading, but still ended higher. Tech stocks gained after strong earnings from the world's largest contract chip maker, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing. Its stock jumped after reporting its fourth quarter profit increased 35% year over year.
Playoff fever pushing Bears tickets to historic highs. One ticket for Sunday's game could cost more than $1,000. That's a 58% hike from last weekend's Packers wildcard game. It's not just the game. According to Ticketmaster, the average ticket to see Super Bowl 60 at Levi Stadium near San Francisco, that's between $4,000 and $6,000. All part of a nationwide trend. Many fans say they're being priced out of seeing major sporting events in person. Let's take this to the collegiate level. The least expensive ticket to this Monday's National National Championship game, which is in Florida, that's more than $3,200.
Sport ticket prices are driven by demand for tickets. So it's because consumers are willing to pay more, and teams are, because they know consumers are willing to pay, are going to charge more. So it's just in their interest as a profit maximizing business.
Well, to his point, data from the Labor Department shows the average price to attend a live sporting event has more than doubled since the late 90s.
Wow. Chicago restaurants are apparently getting a big boost from the Chicago Bears, according to the Illinois Restaurant Association. The winning season has been a huge benefit. Typically, January is considered a slow month in the restaurant industry, and that's why Chicago Restaurant Week was started, to try to drive business to as many spots as possible. But this year, the Bears are adding an unexpected bonus.
One thing I do got to say, especially to restaurant bars, they did get a shot in the arm with the Bears. A lot of people were going to, bar restaurants, so that was a shot in the arm. But also, they were also ordering food at home. And 20% of the businesses that restaurants do these days are pickup or delivery. So go Bears, keep winning. That's another shot in the arm besides Restaurant Weeks.
Go Bears. By the way, if you are interested in taking part in Chicago Restaurant Week this year, it goes from January 23rd to February 4th. There are a lot of discounted lunches and dinners offered. Go to choosechicago.org to find out more.
Getting hungry.
Yeah.
From the high school baseball diamond to bearing down at Soldier Field, we're going down memory lane with the family of Chicago tight end Cole Kmet.
And it may have been a sunny day, but there is no doubt winter is back. Emily will tell us just how long the cold is going to be hanging around and how long this spell will last. But first, here's a look at your trip home. This is where you say beep, beep.
Beep, beep.
You saw it.
This
Bears tight end Cole Kmet's family took a trip down memory lane earlier today.
Yeah, they went back to his old digs at St. Viator in Arlington Heights, visiting his former baseball team. He was a member, God, I feel old here, Sylvia, of the 2017 championship season. It's where he draws his inspiration. You know, when he scores a touchdown, yeah, he does that swing of a bat. One former teammate says Kmet's journey to the NFL has been amazing to watch.
It's cool to see him kind of just live out every Northwest suburb boy's dream, from going to the University of Notre Dame to going to the Chicago Bears, his hometown, team that he grew up rooting for. It's literally can't write a better picture than that, story than that.
Entire team rooting for the Bears to go all the way to the Super Bowl.
A lot of people counting on that cold weather this weekend to kind of have a negative impact on the Rams, huh?
Yeah, I think that's what we're all kind of hoping for here.
12th man.
January in Chicago, we're used to this.
Exactly.
Anyway,
This is no big
we can
deal.
handle it. And if you think back to December, there was a Bears game that was awfully cold. We had those sub-zero wind chills.
That's right.
And, things went okay, I think, if memory serves me correct.
Yeah.
So,
do it again.
See how it goes. But yes, it is going to be cold this weekend. We're counting on high temperatures that are only going to be in the upper teens on Sunday. And I think wind chill temperatures, because we are expected to have pretty gusty winds, we could be dealing with wind chill temps that are hovering just above zero during that game on Sunday. Satellite and radar, here's what we're working with now. So the lake effect that we've been watching previously today, that's come to an end across Northwest Indiana. And most of the day, a lot of us were enjoying some sunshine. However, off to our west, we have our next storm system that's already beginning to make its way in. So over the next few hours, we're going to see snow overspreading the area. This is going to be after sunset, by the way. Of course, we're already coming up on sunset. And I think a lot of us are going to get through that evening rush. But closer to 7, 8, 9 p.m., that's when we're going to start to see that snow moving through from west to east. And then that's going to continue during the overnight. And this isn't a huge snowmaker, but it is going to be enough that any untreated surfaces are very quickly going to become snow covered and slick. And by tomorrow morning, I have the clock stopped here around 10 a.m. Most areas are picking up around an inch. We could be seeing a couple spots closer to 2 inches, but generally speaking, most of us are going to be right around an inch of snow tonight into early tomorrow. But then through the day tomorrow, we're still going to have scattered snow showers. So we could see brief, heavier bursts of snow. However, accumulation-wise tomorrow, I think we're going to have just little to none. So not much to worry about there. Futurecast taking us into early tomorrow morning. So by 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, we still could have some snow around, but it should be fairly light. So when it comes to your Friday morning commute, I think, one, it's going to take a while, of course, for the crews to get to all of the roads, so just be prepared for that, especially if you're in a more rural area. But we could be seeing at least some light snow still coming down throughout the morning. And then spotty snow showers are going to remain possible through the day on Friday. High temperatures, though, looking pretty good. We're going to be in the mid-30s, so that too is really going to help with that snow removal, because salt is going to be very effective with temperatures being that warm tomorrow. Looking forward to the weekend, we have a much colder air mass. It's really going to take hold of the region beginning on Saturday. So Saturday's high temperatures, I think we're topping out pretty close to 20. And then on Sunday, many of us are only going to be in the upper teens to near 20 degrees. So it's going to stay very cold throughout the entirety of the weekend. And then going into Monday, we're looking at temperatures during the day that could be dropping into the single digits. So it gets even colder by Monday of next week. Your temperatures right now, many of us are sitting in the 20s. We have wind chill temperatures that are currently in the teens. And over the next couple of days, again, tomorrow's our warm day. Then we have that big drop in temperatures heading our way this weekend. That's going to last into early next week. Your 7-day forecast tomorrow, 36 spotty snow showers through the day. Small chance for a stray flurry Saturday as well as Sunday, but most areas end up staying dry. The bigger weather story this weekend, of course, is going to be the cold. 13 degrees for your high by Monday. Tuesday and Wednesday, we are back up into the 20s, and I think we're close to 30 by Thursday. We'll be right back.
The MLK.
Welcome back. As we look ahead to the Super Bowl next month, the height requirement to be part of the halftime show has some Bad Bunny fans wishing they were a little bit taller. The field team application requires participants to reach between 5'7" and 6 foot tall. Now, the company handling applications on behalf of Super Bowl Productions telling USA Today in a statement the height requirements will be very important for participation and will be verified through the rehearsal process. NFL fan gear is getting a glow up, and with the excitement around the Chicago Bears playoff journey, it's not surprising that the merch is flying off the shelves. Jake had the tough assignment today to check it all out for us.
That's right, guys. We know Bears fans are the absolute best in the NFL, but you know what? They're also the best looking and the best dressed. And a big reason why is where we are right now, the Bears Pro Shop out at Soldier Field that has everything you need to maybe have a little refresh before the big game on Sunday. We're back here with Sarah Smith, VP of Fan Development and Marketing. Sarah, I'd imagine anything with these 3 words on it basically flying off the shelf.
Absolutely. This is our Good, Better, Best collection that was designed by our in-house brand creative team. We have sizes for women, men, unisex, kids, you name it. It's been a top seller.
And also, it's got such a great story behind it, and you can know that when you get something like that, it's still going to be great next season, 10 seasons from now. But I'd imagine, particularly this weekend, people want to put a timestamp on where we are right now. And any merchandise that says 2025 playoffs, division champs, I'd imagine that's what people are really coming after, right?
Exactly. It's been such a memorable season that this collection, fans really want to commemorate it, and so this has been flying off the shelves as well.
I got to ask, though, you know, there's so many things out here, and everyone knows that, you know, obviously there are a lot of male Bears fans, but there are a lot of passionate female Bears fans, and you guys have a lot of merch that's going to make sure that they're the best dressed, best looking fans in all of football.
Absolutely. So we really want to make sure that we're taking care of all of our fans. So for some of the female styles, we really lean into unisex, but also options like this where it's tone on tone. So maybe you want to sport the Bears, but you don't necessarily want a huge colorful logo.
There's a lot to be had for everybody out here. I know we have some expecting moms at Fox 32, so we're going to do a little bit of present shopping, maybe to have some stuff ready to go for a little bit later in the year. When can people come out to the shop, and where is it exactly?
Exactly. So we have 3 pro shops here at Soldier Field. This one that we're in is close to gate 45, and this is open 7 days a week. So even if you aren't coming to the game, you can still swing by and get some merch.
And, you know, people don't necessarily maybe think of this next item as a must-have, but going into the game on Sunday, I'd imagine a blanket might be a very coveted item going into that game.
Absolutely. The blankets have been a top seller for us this season.
And you can get them and bring them in?
You absolutely.
Get them and bring them in. All right, guys, we are out here, Soldier Field. It is the Bears Pro Shop. I'm going to do some shopping on my own. Sarah, we appreciate you. Let's see. I think we've got my size ready to go. And on that note, I'm going to do a little bit more shopping as we toss it back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks for that, Jake, and thanks for watching the news at 4. Here are Dawn and Scott at 5.
Thank you, Sylvia. The newest Cub arriving at the friendly confines today. We introduce you to the All-Star.
College hoops facing a bombshell tonight. Dozens of players have been in